Hello, today I'm going to be shooting a video on a Toro MX5060, basically on how to remove that hydrostatic transaxle. I've got a fan pulley assembly that my wife had some weeds up in there and some brush, and it actually broke the fan off, and I'm gonna have to replace that. I ordered from partstree.com part number 12154746, and what you actually get the fan blade and the pulley. I probably didn't need the pulley, but I thought it was a unit where they came as one piece, but that's not the case. Probably could have just ordered the fan blade. And there's the supplied hardware that goes with it, and we'll go over that a little later. But that's what I'm going to do, is remove the transaxle and basically install a new fan blade and pulley assembly. I've got a nice little service manual. I'll provide a link for that. Here's kind of the schematics on it and everything. If you go over to page 5.7, it actually goes into the transaxle removal and everything, and we'll go through that step by step. And please, if somebody's got experience doing that, please make comments on the video. But I could not find anything on the internet or YouTube as far as how to do this. So hopefully this will help a few people out. And go ahead and make comments as necessary. And what I'm going to do is jack this thing up, remove the wheels, and then we will go through this manual step by step. Okay, I've got the wheels off. You can see I've got a floor jack and a jack stand there, lifting that rear bumper up. Now what we're going to do is take the drive nut off. That will be this one right here. That's a 1/2 inch. Let me get my light, see if we can. And just past that, you can see this. See right there? That's your bypass. All that is just a little clip. We'll take some needle nose pliers, pull that out. And then if you come to the front of the unit, up here, you'll take that clip out for your brake. And then we've got one other nut. Okay? This nut, if we come right around the back here, you'll see that nut right there. Okay, that's a 7/16. So we'll take that out, and then we'll go to the front, undo the clip, and remove the brake linkage. Okay, we'll move the hydraulic linkage with this one nut, and then we'll remove the bypass. And then we'll go on and we'll remove these 4 nuts. 1, 2 right here, and right up under the bottom there's 1 on each transaxle. So that's a total of 6 for this this frame. These are 1/2 inch nuts. Up underneath the transaxle is a 9/16 nut, so it'll be 3 for each transaxle, and that frame should drop down. I'll pause right here. Well, that was great. I'm new to using this phone for video, and we're going on to where we're removing the dry belt on this Toro MX5060. And if you climb right up under, we've got this tensioner spring, and we'll just remove that so we'll have a little play in the pulleys. And you can see right over here, this is the pulley that the fan blades came off, and that's the one we're going to replace. So we're dropping this transaxle, and I need to get this belt off. So the first step is to come back right over here up to this tensioner spring, remove it, and that'll allow you a little slack in the belt to pull it off of this pulley. I've got all the linkages disconnected, and we've got 3 bolts on each side. That's a 9/16 nut up under the transaxle on both transaxles, and then I've got 2 on the side over here, 1 and 2. Those are a 1/2 inch, and that plate should drop down, and I think we've got maybe 1 other nut right here, and we should be able to drop the transaxle. So I'll pause, hopefully not start another new video. The next step is to remove the hydraulic lines. On the MX, you've got an external oil reservoir. I think some of the smaller models do not have that, and you probably bypass this step. But if you do have the MX, it's kind of like really tight. Let me get a light down here. See right where the tip of that light is? Okay, that's where the hose actually goes into the frame and onto the transaxle. And you can actually get a pair of needle nose pliers, and it's got a little squeeze fastener on there that you can spring and pull up. So I've got that loosened, and now I'll go to beneath here. I've got these 2 bolts out. Those were 1/2 inch. I've got on the bottom here 9/16, and it's the same on the other side. You got 2 halves and a 9/16, and this bottom piece should drop. And it looks like we've got a couple others, and then that transaxle hopefully should drop. So I'll pause here. I got a lot to learn on this video stuff. I hit end again. This, like I say, this is my first video. Here's a little tip. When you're dropping this crossmember, you've got your connectors. I would leave 1 loosely attached on each side, and you can see you've got your 2 bolts, 9/16 on the bottom here, 1 and 1 over there. And if you don't leave one of these bolts attached, then it causes a lot of weight on each one of these. This makes it easier, so just leave 1 loosely attached, and then take your 2 bottom ones off. Hopefully I won't screw this thing up again. Well, I've done it again. I hope I can do some good video editing on this. Starting another little video on this transaxle. There's 3 bolts, and this transaxle will fall out of place. It's a little confusing on the front there. I'll show you the back right here. Right here. Okay, that's a 1/2 inch bolt right here. And then you come around on the front side, and this one's pretty self-explanatory. It's real easy to see. Now this is the confusing one, right back up in here. Okay, and you'll access the nut on the other side, so you'll actually reach around and access that. So you've got those three bolts, this one right here, this one right here, and then in the back, this one, and the transaxle should drop. I'll pause here. I actually removed the remote oil reservoir. Goes right here, and those are 3/8 inch small little tap bolts there. And I went ahead and disconnected this hydraulic hose. Probably didn't need to, but rather than have to fool with trying to, when I'm dropping this transaxle, trying to get the hose off, everything leaking out, I went ahead and took it off from the top. Please somebody comment whether this is the correct sequence to be doing this. Also, something else I did here, I've got my three bolts, this one, and like the front two right here, this one and the one on the back side, all loose. So this thing is ready to come out. I went ahead and just stuck a little floor jack. I don't think you need it, but just get all the bolts out and just have something holding it. I don't think it's that heavy, but this thing's getting ready to drop. So I'll let you know how that hose arrangement worked out. I'm gonna pause here. Okay, probably not a bad idea using the floor jack. That's maybe 30 pounds, something in that area, so it wasn't a bad idea putting the little floor jack up under it. Helped, got the bolts out earlier. I think also if you notice on the hydraulic hose right here, probably wasn't a bad idea disconnecting it at the reservoir. A lot less messy and everything. You can see this is the culprit right here I'm going to be replacing. There's actually a fan that rides on this underside, and when the wife was bush hogging, some thick woody stems got caught up into that fan, and it just ripped it off the pulley and everything, and it was inserviceable and everything. Was going to run it without the fans, and all the reading I did on it, you're headed for disaster, and these units are not cheap. In excess of $1,000 for that little unit right there. So what I'll do, I'm probably going to use a impact wrench on the top nut and everything, but let's go over here and I'll show you. If you do order the fan kit, you get your pulley, this little washer, a nut, and this, and then you get your fan. Well, the way this thing goes is you see your little indentations right there, 3. You'll take your fan and line up like yay, and your pulley will go on top of that like yay. Make sure you saw that. Pulley goes in, keys right on that, then your washer, and then your nut. So that was a lot of trouble just for some weeds getting up there, and totaling out that fan blade, but I didn't want to take the chance running that transaxle without that fan blade, and all of them have it, so it's just they put them there for a reason. I'll show you how this thing goes together on the transaxle in just a sec. Well, there's the completed job. That's what it should look like. You've got the fan cooling that transaxle. Not like that without the fan. Basically, the steps will be the reverse of what I've done. I will put this thing back in, and if I run across anything unusual, I'll make comments on what's happened and what I did to resolve it. So I'll pause right now. I would definitely recommend using a little floor jack on the reinstallation of that thing. You've got, remember, 2 bolts in the front and then the one in the back right there. A little floor jack, man, it just makes it so much easier. You know, it's because that's 30 poundish or so, maybe a little more, and holding that up, getting those bolts started, pretty tough, but that jack makes it a pretty easy process. Had the wife help me put the cross member on. She held the other side, I had this side. Otherwise you might need a small jack. We got the 2 side bolts started first, and then threaded the bottom 2 bolts on. One thing you might notice, forgot to mention, you're going to have to remove this cross member to gain access to the filter on the transmission in the event you want to change your oil and filter on that. So you're going to have to pull the wheels off and then drop your cross member, 6 bolts, and then you've got access to your filter and everything. Well, I'm basically just going to hook up the linkages here, tighten everything to specs, and put my drive belt on here. Make sure and look at the diagrams and everything in the service manual with the link, and basically looks like everything is good. I will probably still go through and purge the system. That's explained in the first chapter on the hydrostatic transmission, and hopefully everything will work. Hope this helps somebody, and like I say, people that have more experience, feel free to leave comment on this. Thank you.